Smile. Breathe. And just remember, it's too late to get out of it, so you might as well go on.
Do you ever get the feeling that people are incapable of not caring?
You know, I'm screwed up and average enough that I could write a song that'll live on forever. And then after that, it don't matter. I am the king of gay chickens.
No, seriously, what the fuck?
Honestly, you're in a memory in your subconscious.
Fuck! Seriously?
I don't know what you've been told, little lady, but the rest of us start at 9. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Good morning.
Hey, Benny! Looks to me like you're on the wrong side of the river!
Is it gonna be like this all the time?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Exceptional Thieves. It's a podcast where Isaac and I review and rewrite movies. I'm Sam.
And I'm Isaac.
And this is the first episode of our new special series, Turns of Phrase, reviewing the entire filmography of the one and only Brendan Fraser. Hello, Isaac. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I like that it's called a special series and not like a limited edition because it's not going to be a limited time. Like, it's going to take a while.
It's going to be a virtually unlimited span of time, which is stretching quite intimidatingly far into the future at the moment, especially considering how rarely we manage to get together and record an episode.
But nothing's going to come up to stop this from completing.
We've podcasted through pandemics, through natural disasters that occurred in other countries, through our own mild illnesses.
True.
And so I think we can do this as well. If this is your first episode,
which highly likely it possibly could be a lot of people's first episodes.
Well, look, Isaac, by rebranding as a Brendan Fraser podcast,
yeah,
we are doing something we've never done before, and potentially stepping into a very large and very organized fandom. Not to say that our previous subjects haven't had legions of fans, but I think the Brendan Fraser fandom, especially right now, especially this week, I would say, is at a fever pitch of organization and activity, the like of which the world has never seen the like of which. That's why we're jumping on the bandwagon now, because we love doing that.
Well, I don't think we were off of the bandwagon. We've just not been very, very active on the bandwagon. I've always loved Brendan Fraser. You've always loved Brendan
I guess we've
Fraser.
always been on the bandwagon, but now I feel like there's the bandwagon of, oh yeah, Brendan Fraser's good. But then there's this additional bandwagon of, we're going to spend our entire lives talking about it and get more active in our fan activity. And that's the bandwagon we're jumping on now.
Roger.
And, we're definitely coming in at a good time, I think.
It is. There's a blue sky at the moment.
Yeah.
In the Fraserverse.
So I think I was saying, for people who don't know, if this is your first episode, this is, I guess, technically like season 5 of the umbrella show that we called Exceptional Thieves.
I'd give it that. Yeah, I'd give it that.
Because we review and rewrite movies. That's our whole thing.
It is.
We did that with just random movies for a while.
About 2 years of that.
About 2 years.
Yeah.
And then at the start of the pandemic, we started to do Daniel Craig.
Yes, we made a great decision.
We made a great decision. We became Craig's List. And we watched and reviewed absolutely everything Daniel Craig has been in. Then we had a little break. Then we became the Brenton Thwaites Hour. Just an incredibly lazy name, looking back at it. Like, it was funny, and that's why
it is funny. It still is.
It is, like, it's a good bit, but if you're not there for when the bit was come up with, just an incredibly lazy, compared to, like, Craig's List and Turns of Phrase, just didn't come up with a clever one for Brenton Thwaites.
Well, there isn't a clever one for Brenton Thwaites.
Well, I believe
as clever
there is
as
one.
he may be.
The fact that we did not think of it by no means implies there isn't one out there. I mean, we spent about 12 months coming up with Turns of Phrase. So then we watched and reviewed everything that Brenton Thwaites has been in. We will still be going back because we've still got season 4 of Titans, still waiting for that to come out in
I'm
Australia.
I'm going to move away at that point.
For the
day that you want to record that episode.
Say that.
I won't be living here.
Well, as we've already established, there's nothing that gets in the way of this podcast. And then we took another little break, and then we did our special series, see a movie and talk about it for a bit throughout last year, which was a lot of fun. Yeah. It's nice to get out there and roam free in, whatever's happening. Do a little bit of Don't
movies.
Worry, Darling. A little bit of Nope. Did we do Nope? We did
do a chat on Nope. And that was
a little
it.
bit of Avatar.
Oh, yeah, we saw Avatar.
And then keeping up with our boys, obviously, with things like Glass Onion. You know what I learned? Because, it got nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay.
Yeah, why?
And we were like, what the effing F you effing talking about, you son of a
it's
bitch.
Something he wrote and then adapted again?
Well, yeah, basically anything by Oscar rules, because they're old-timey, I guess, anything that is a sequel is adapted because you're adapting existing characters. So just the fact that Benoit Blanc has been in a movie before means you're now adapting existing material into a new screenplay.
See, that's something I didn't know.
So like Avatar, it wasn't nominated for screenplay, thank Christ. But I guess if it had been, it would have been Best Adapted Screenplay.
Yeah. It wasn't a great screenplay.
No, definitely not.
There's some sweet
One of the
dialogue
many
in
aspects
there
of that film
shouldn't
that
be
I
in there.
continue to believe are not particularly great. And so now, we have refocused. We found a new subject.
The length is one of those things.
The length, the width,
A movie
the depth.
has to earn that. And Avatar didn't. It's fine. We're moving on.
We're moving
talking about
on.
bigger and brighter things.
Yeah. So, as you said, we've always been kind of on the Brendan bandwagon. The Brand wagon. That's something. We can keep that.
Okay. We don't have to, but
No,
we
do.
can.
No, we do. We gotta rule one of doing these filmography podcasts, start building lore immediately. Start building lore and sayings.
Oh, okay.
Like Daniel Craig, we were Craig Conquistadors.
Yeah, but we used that maybe 5 times.
I think we used it more than you remember. Now, what are we? I would say Frasiacs.
Sweet.
That's fun, right?
You can say Frasiacs.
Yeah. I'm gonna get on the Brendan Fraser
I'm not gonna say that.
Facebook fan club and start propagating that phrase.
Frasiacs.
Hello, my fellow Frasiacs. I mean, if you have an alternate suggestion, let me know. So what we do with these podcasts is...
if you have a preferred use of what a Fraser fan is called, please write in.
Please let us know.
We would love to be inundated with
A
at
Fraser
least one
fan.
message.
A Fran, as they're sometimes called.
Yes.
By less imaginative people. What we're going to do is... look, it's not rocket science. We're going to watch and review everything that Brendan Fraser has ever done. In chronological order. So starting at the dawn of time, before Encino Man, and working our way up to now. And now is obviously a very interesting and exciting time.
It is.
For the Frasiac community.
All in all, there's at least 53 episodes.
Yeah.
That's how Google put it.
Because sometimes we talk about trying to do a shorter version, or we'll do 2 things in one episode. Back with Daniel Craig,
there may come a time when we do that in this at least, because he did do a lot of little But I want to watch all of the films and talk about the films separately. But Scrubs, every episode of Scrubs is one episode of this show.
Is it?
Yeah, his character in Scrubs is a character arc that we can talk about in one episode of this show.
Oh, right. I thought you were saying we have to do an episode on each episode of Scrubs.
No.
Right. I was
one single episode of this show is for Scrubs.
I've branched into an alternate dimension where I'm surprised we're doing Scrubs at all, because normally you say with these things we're not doing the TV stuff, and then I always say yes, of course, Isaac, whatever you want,
TV stuff
in order to lure you into doing the show
all.
again, and then you will fall for it every time, and then once we're too bought in to pull out, I tell you, just so you know, we're doing everything, and you can't say no.
We can't really talk about Brendan in particular without talking about Scrubs.
Scrubs is fundamental.
Because
it's quoted in
Brendan's part in Scrubs is
Scrubs, which is the new version for
one
babies.
of the better parts of the entirety of Scrubs.
It probably is. It's one of the most devastating 20 minutes of television ever created. And that's quoted in our opening credits, so we do absolutely have to do that.
Yes.
I am sorry to tell you that he does, according to IMDb, which is normally a bit more in depth, he does have 73 acting credits.
Yeah, but
some of which we can breeze through, but there's 73.
Are some of them like music videos in which we don't have to watch?
I'm scrolling.
I would
I'm
love actually to
scrolling.
watch a music video with
I'm
Brendan
not
Fraser
seeing that,
in it.
man.
Okay. That's okay.
And, you know, again, like one of them is like an episode of The Simpsons.
We do not
Which,
have to
you
include
know,
that.
Well, I mean, we can watch it, but we don't have to like spend an hour and a half.
It can be
talking
part
about
of
it.
like a different episode, yeah.
But that's our problem. We're like, it doesn't have to be. And then we start talking about it, and then we start building it out into a wider point about The Simpsons. And then I'm like, but yeah, the thing about animation is, and then next thing you know,
But because we're doing a Brendan Fraser podcast now,
Yes.
we understand that the world wants us to be serious,
yes,
and
well, because he's a serious actor,
he is a serious actor.
and we're serious guys doing
we are
serious
very
stuff.
serious. We don't go on tangents. We only talk about Brendan.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the other actors in
We
the
don't
film.
even talk about films. We just talk
No,
about Brendan specifically.
Just Brendan. Yeah, we just start talking about what he's doing, and you have to work out from context clues what film
Which
it
film
is.
it is, exactly.
I like the idea of talking about all the movies like it's stuff that Brendan Fraser did. Like this was
this
just a-
one time
this one
in
time
1940 something.
when he was in the jungle.
I'm keen to watch a few of them because I haven't seen a few of them for a couple of years.
Look, there's
There are movies in this list that
so
I
let's
watch
talk about
all the time.
yeah. So I think just getting started here, I think we need to address the Oscars because I think this now is a good time to get that sort of out of the way because we are
Point one.
well,
the
I'd say
Oscars.
well, no, I'd say that's point two.
Okay, point two.
Point two.
The Oscars.
You wrote the two above the one. You maniac.
No one can see my writing, Sam. You've just ruined that illusion for the world.
Oh yeah, because the writing's out of frame. We should say as well, this is the first time we've tried to film ourselves while doing this podcast. I don't know if anyone will ever see this.
It may
footage.
succeed, it may not succeed, but we're having a good time trying.
We're out here trying stuff in 2023. That's what 2023
We are.
is about. We're trying stuff. Maybe we'll do one of these episodes outdoors on a zip line, on a romantic hot air balloon
zip
ride.
line, maybe not, but outdoors could be fun.
Yeah,
On the Brisbane Eye.
we'll have class outdoors.
We'll just record an episode while we do one loop of the Brisbane Eye.
Yeah, on the side of the motorway, in a sewer pipe.
You're
Wherever you
mentioning...
get fun acoustics.
You're making it sound like we're not going to do that. But having class outside could be fun.
Making it sound like someone going through the game, like Michael Douglas. The rules are, like the most dangerous game, the rules are you're going to be hunted through New York, but you also have to podcast the entire time.
And watch Brendan Fraser.
The ultimate annoying bro challenge. You must keep podcasting. And your friends have to listen to it. Anyway. No, but point one, I think, what's our Brendan Fraser history?
Okay,
You know,
so
how have we come to this? What's brought us to this point? What?
so the Oscars, we're not talking about them first.
Well, I think I feel like we lay the foundation,
Okay.
the
So
phrase,
the history of Brendan Fraser.
the phrase station, and then we move on to the latest, the latest thing. It's going to put a lot of people off, isn't it? if I keep doing
There's only
that.
one way to find out. Keep doing it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, okay. Rule one of podcasting. What's your history with Brendan Fraser,
Okay.
Mr. Isaac?
My history of Brendan Fraser.
With Brendan Fraser.
Okay, my history with Brendan Fraser. I think chronologically it would have started with George of the Jungle, as most people's in our age demographic would have started.
Yeah. I'm not certain I've seen that.
Holy shit!
Or I might have seen it. I feel like maybe they put it on at school one day.
You've definitely seen at least the first George of the
I'm
Jungle,
very-
and then you know how shit the second one is.
There's a second one?
Yep, doesn't have Brendan in it though, so we don't have to watch it.
Oh, I'm watching it.
No, he's not in it.
What's it called? Trevor of the
It's
Forest?
called George of the Jungle 2.
Any subtitle?
No, I don't think so.
I miss that.
It's not putting subtitles.
Sequel, no subtitle.
Yeah.
Bring it back, please.
Yeah. I think more films should just have just a 2.
Yeah.
Or like 22 Jump Street. I like that as a title.
That's also great.
That was quite smartly done. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thor 4. 4, as we said at the time, is what it should have been called.
Yep.
4 with a PH.
My history.
Yeah.
So George of the Jungle starts it off, followed by The Mummy, which is top 20 best films ever made.
I think that's probably fair to say, yeah.
It is fantastic, and anyone who tries to repeat that is going to fail miserably.
Well, that conversation's being had right
Yes,
now.
it is.
This week, everyone is dusting off the Mummy 4 screenplays and being like, is there a way?
I mean, like, if anyone tries to remake the first one,
yeah, well,
try to reboot that thing, because we did an episode on that.
We covered the Tom Cruise one and tried to
film.
do a rewrite on that, which was a lot of fun. I don't know. I feel like it's completely feasible to do another.
It's completely
Egypt
possible
mummy
to
movie.
do the Mummy
That's
again.
why it's like. That's
But
why
Tom Cruise's one was fucking shit.
the Tom Cruise failure was spectacular and frankly inexplicable.
Yeah.
To this day, I don't understand it, but it feels like it's sitting right there. It can be done.
Well, I think I would be keen to see Brendan do another one, like an Indiana Jones type thing, coming back when you're a little bit aged.
Look, if Harrison Ford has an Indiana Jones movie coming out this year,
Exactly. There's still time for Brendan.
I mean, that's like Brendan is like 30 years younger than Harrison Ford. Yes, please.
It evolves from George to the Mummy, and then once you see the Mummy and you love him as a person and how good he is,
but then
you see everything.
Any other highlights for you? Because then my question to you is, did you have that experience of, whatever happened to Brendan Fraser? When the Whatever Happened to Brendan Fraser article started coming out.
While I was watching Scrubs. Because I didn't watch Scrubs when Scrubs was coming out. I watched Scrubs like late university. I'm talking like 2011 was when I decided that Scrubs was a
years
thing
behind.
for me. And seeing Brendan Fraser in that, I'm like, yeah, he's actually really, really cool.
Yeah.
And then I had a Google, got a little sad. As you do. Yeah.
Well, what's weird is the narrative of Brendan Fraser is of him having these sort of wilderness years.
Yep.
And in one clip I've seen, he said, I was in the wilderness and it's great to be back. And then there's another clip where he's making the point that, like, I never really went anywhere. And if you scroll through his filmography, he's got stuff coming out every year. Like, he doesn't, I'm just looking,
but
he doesn't miss a year without a film coming out the entire time.
A lack of...
They weren't genre-defining epics like The Mummy.
Yeah, a lack of not, like, following. Because, like, he can do stuff, but if it's not advertised enough, if it doesn't have a budget for that sort of thing, we're not going to see it, especially where we live. Well,
I think he's the Mummy guy, and then that's his brand, basically. And then he's doing things like Your Adventure at the Center of the Earth, etc. And you would think he'd progress into sort of just continue to be an action movie star. I would say.
Think so, yes.
Kind of like you're The Rock or Bruce Willis or something.
But
and in here, I think maybe
like a less sad Steven Seagal,
a less clinically
like
insane
really
Steven
great
Seagal
action films, and then they get real shit like Bruce Willis's ones have done lately, which is a different sad story. But
yeah, well, we don't ever go Bruce Willis anymore because
I don't think Brendan would ever want to saturate the market with himself in an action movie, though.
No, but I think, and I haven't read enough about this. I'm not sure if there's more information out there, but as we also know, he was suffering greatly during that time from his injuries, and we also know there was this. The sad middle chapter of sexual assault, basically, from an executive within Hollywood. I'm not certain if we know exactly who it was. And then there was sort of a blacklisting that apparently happened, while he's still releasing movies quite frequently. Yeah. But I think it's interesting. It's almost like a shadow banning, where it's not like he can't make movies. On what
sort of studios he's working for and with, and if they're all indie films.
But I just think it's interesting that there's a kind of blacklisting going on. It's not stopping him from working, but it's almost like he was just held back from the public eye. And maybe there was this sort of artificial barrier put up between him and his audience. Meanwhile, I think that audience was consistently there in a sort of latent way, which is why all just rewatching The Mummy over and over again. And then that's why there's been such a powerful sort of breakthrough, particularly in the last couple of years, where that fan community has seemingly all found each other and found Brendan again, and everyone's reconnected. And that's why everyone's just having such a bloody good time the whole time. Because he seems like he didn't think people liked him that much.
It feels like that, yeah. Which is
insane.
Bloody sad.
Yeah.
Like when you see little bits of him just chatting about it, you're like, oh man.
Yeah. And there's a whole other conversation we need to be had about what Brendan Fraser is like now, just as a guy, and his whole demeanor and personality. Like, it's very, very interesting and really unique, I think, and something worthy of hours and hours of our adult attention.
And to progress from that as well, like, if you see photos of him, of the blacklisting, and then he looks great now. He looks, and I know it's because everything now is he's in the limelight again. He's obviously got publicists and everything helping him out. Yeah, but he does look healthy.
He's looking better and better. Yeah, at the moment, which, great. It is, but he deserved to have self-esteem and recognition before, correct, as well. That's the sort of interesting point you get into. And at the moment he seems to be like someone who's just having their low self-esteem forcibly undermined constantly, to the point where they're having to undergo a sort of radical shift in their own self-perception because there's no sort of arguing with it. Which is something I think happens quite rarely and may not be sustainable because the limelight always moves on as well. But it's been a fascinating thing to watch. I was obsessed with The Mummy also as a child. That's my first understanding of Brendan Fraser. I think I had an awareness of George of the Jungle, but didn't really care about it. And, it didn't affect me.
A Man in a Loincloth didn't do it for you?
It didn't, no. Like I said, I have no memory of watching it. Definitely wouldn't have been as a child. Oh, let's put George of the Jungle on. I think I think already as like a 9-year-old, I was like, that's for babies. I don't really want to watch out for that tree, etc. Yeah, I was obsessed with The Mummy.
Understandable.
9, 10, 11, really 12. I had that on VHS and just watched it over and over and over again. I bought toy guns to mimic his gun set. Nice. That's always the way. It's two revolvers and shotgun, absolutely. Bandolier. Just the way he had the holsters, up high, handle out. I watched that movie an absolute bajillion times.
It's weird in that we're going to talk about it, but it's just such an accessible film because it has elements from everything you want.
Yeah, look, obviously, we're going to talk about The Mummy for a long time. And it's one of the foundation stones.
It's like 4 episodes of this show.
Or, Frase station stones, if you will, of this entire
I won't.
Podcast.
I won't.
You won't?
I won't.
Well, if you would. I really love the sequel as well. It is the same movie again. Good. That's the problem with the third one, that it's not the same movie again. And then, even when The Mummy 3 came out, my birthday that year, what I chose to do was we went to see The Mummy 3 in Gold Class.
2008.
2008 would have been, yeah. Like, that's what the trip out was. I was like, I'm going to go see the third, definitely, obviously not as good, Mummy movie.
What do you mean? It had Jet Li in it.
Yeah, true.
And they'd replaced Rachel Weisz, finally.
What happened to that bloke?
Jet Li.
Yeah.
I'm sure he still does stuff.
He's probably doing loads of stuff, isn't he? He's just not in my orbit.
Making money, telling other people to do the stuff.
In my mind, I'm like, well, he's Asian, and he wasn't in Crazy Rich Asians, and he wasn't in Everything Everywhere All at Once. So what is he doing? You know what I mean? If you're just someone watching mainstream Hollywood. And then after that, I remember watching Gods and Monsters with my parents, which was awful.
Dazzled.
Not the film, just the experience. Then obviously there was Scrubs, which, blew everyone's minds. And then, I've seen a couple of these things, but that's when he faded, from my life in a lot of ways. And so there's lots of stuff in here I'm very interested to see. And then now, of course, he's arisen. He's undergone his Renaissance, which we've been hearing about for a long time.
We have been.
Or Brensurgence, as I prefer.
Brensurgence,
yeah.
It sounds
Independence Day
sounds
colon
more harsh than a Renaissance. It's like, bam.
Yeah. It's like Brendan's back and he's attacking.
He's been Brensurted back into the world.
He's been Don't force it. So you can't. We've got a long time to come up with these. We don't have to do it all now.
Correct.
Okay, let's not put a lot of pressure on us.
3 more episodes of this.
We've got at least 3 more episodes before we get bored and decide to stop. And now, of course, we're at the absolute peak of the Renaissance because we're sitting.
Just won an Oscar.
He has won the Academy Award for Best Actor. And
He is the best actor right now.
you think he's the best
He's
actor?
the best. Well, he won an award for it.
Well,
at
true.
apparently Hollywood's Night of Nights. Even though they have like 30 award ceremonies,
Yeah.
this one means more than the rest of them, and he won that one.
He is,
They have too many award ceremonies.
what, Hollywood?
Uh-huh.
I've noticed that. That is a thought I've had because of Brendan Fraser. Because I've been following a bunch of, Brendan Fraser social media, and every day he's picking up another award somewhere.
Yeah.
Some different critics board, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's a bit much, I think. You got Oscars, Golden Globes, BAFTAs.
Yeah, they'd start
That's
to
it.
feel less exciting, Like,
Yeah.
Why do you need Golden Globes, though? Oh, TV, I guess. No, Emmys are the TV.
You got Emmys.
So just Oscars, Emmys, BAFTAs.
yeah.
That's good enough. Grammys for music.
Well, why do you need BAFTAs? Why are the British getting involved all the
Because
time?
they make their own stuff and their TV's involved.
Yeah, but they award non-British stuff.
Yeah, they do. And that's okay.
Because Brendan didn't win the BAFTA. Fucking Elvis won it.
Oh, good. He got something.
He had to get something, otherwise I'm worried he'd die by suicide. I would worry that Austin Butler has inhabited the role
Well, I liked...
to such an extreme
He
degree
did a
that
very good job
if he didn't win enough awards for it, his body might just automatically die the way Elvis's
shut
did.
down on a toilet.
Just shut down on a toilet. The next time we went to the toilet.
That's morbid.
That is, yeah. I'm sorry, Austin. Have you
enjoyed
seen Elvis?
People... Yeah, I loved it.
I never even saw it
It's not bad.
because I'm not.
Like, it's depressing, but he's,
yeah.
he's very good.
I'm sure he is. I'm not saying he
And
didn't
also,
deserve
he
awards.
sings like Elvis.
And look, and exciting.
It's fun.
We've got a lot of connection to these Academy Awards from the podcast, obviously, because we had Glass Onion in there. Daniel Craig did not attend, but Glass Onion was in there for Best Adapted Screenplay,
Yeah,
which,
why would he
which is
attend?
nice.
He had nothing to do with the adapting of the screenplay. He was just in the film.
I guess, but he is the adapted component.
He is the one character.
We obviously Top Gun Maverick all over it. What did you think of that? Best Picture?
Nominated.
Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. See, the thing is, if you look at it from an external point of view, if you go back 10 years, there is no possible way Everything Everywhere All at Once, Top Gun Maverick, neither of those films, which are essentially action movies with heart.
I get. Yeah.
There's no possible way either would have ever been nominated for Best Picture.
Back when?
Well, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, no possible way. Because Best Picture was like, this has to be people crying at each other and yelling at each other across a living room.
Yeah. It does.
Everyone
loves
really
that.
does. That's the best picture. That's the best acting.
Well,
But
I was thinking about this because obviously
Top Gun,
the decisions of who gets what awards is just the industry and what they choose to campaign for and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So it's all, it's very manufactured in a lot of ways. And so it makes sense if you're a movie studio, if you've released the number one grossing movie of the year, you don't need that to get Oscars.
No.
Because that's doing good stuff for your studio. It's making $1 billion. That's fine. Movie doesn't need to make $1 billion and get Oscars. It makes sense to separate your efforts and be like, we're going to try to get Marriage Story some Oscars.
because it's going to make more money for that film.
It'll make that movie make
if it
more
gets-
money and it'll
yeah.
bring more prestige onto us. We don't need No Way Home to get any Oscars. It's going to do fine. It's going to bring us enough juice as it is. So I think that's partly why. But then I think also the Oscars realized no one's seen any of the films we're nominating, and no one gives a shit about any of
them.
them.
The point where you can nominate the popular thing, because everybody loved Top Gun.
Everybody loved Top
and it
Gun,
is so fun,
especially
and
both
awesome.
of us. Yeah,
And it is a great film, and
It is a lot of
I think
fun.
it deserves to be up there with other good films. Like Banshees of Inisherin is an amazing. Like I loved it.
I only just watched it.
It's
I thought it was good.
I love Colin Farrell, and I love the vibe of what it is.
I love the vibe.
Don't think it's like the best film of last year.
The best.
You know,
It's not like
It's not
Yeah.
made like the reason I like that Everything Everywhere All at Once has like been rewarded with the best picture.
it's the
It's 'cause-
most awarded movie of all time.
It's such a technical film. Like there is so much editing, there's so much special effects, there's so much
Yeah.
everything in that movie. Like they've put effort into it. Therefore, yeah, it deserves to win stuff.
Yeah.
Yet then when like Edgar Wright makes Hot Fuzz or something like that, there's no possible way that will ever get nominated for Best Picture, even though he
Unfortunately
puts
not.
in so much effort. And it's like they're like picture perfect. Everything matches. Everything's
Yeah.
perfect.
Edgar
Like,
Wright should
that's
have
a good-
made Doctor Who and The Matrix. And then he would have done Everything Everywhere All at Once.
He would have.
Because it's very Edgar Wright, that movie.
It is very Edgar Wright, but I'm pretty sure he
Look.
has like nice relationships with the filmmakers, which is cool.
One would hope. Everything Everywhere All at Once, yeah, it didn't make me feel what I know it made a lot of people feel, seemingly. But it's still very good. I think for me, the thing that got left out more than I think it should have done was All Quiet on the Western Front.
True.
I think that deserved a lot more.
Well, it didn't
Recognition.
win. Who won? Somebody won makeup. That I don't think, like the Oscars really doesn't matter,
It doesn't matter.
but
We're
All
just talking
Quiet on the
about
Western Front.
the whale one makeup.
Like, see, yeah, but
I
it's
mean, I
one
know what
suit.
they're talking about.
It's one suit. It looks awesome, but All Quiet on the Western Front. Everybody's covered in grime the whole fucking time.
You know what I
They
love?
put so much effort into that.
They yellow teeth.
Uh-huh.
They didn't all have white teeth in that movie. I've never seen that before. What an excellent choice.
And like it was huge, and like
So
it
I
should have won something like that.
think it deserved something more. Because I think apart from that, in some ways, not a particularly...
Was it nominated for Best Picture or just Best International Picture?
No, it got nominated for Best Picture as
Oh,
well.
good.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy if you're international, you can get nominated for both.
That's cool. It's inclusive.
Parasite
The Oscars
probably
are
won
changing.
both, didn't it?
Parasite did win both.
And, lovely year. No one got physically assaulted.
That is great.
I had a great interpretation of Will Smith's actions, basically. And he was saying Will Smith probably has the internal belief that he's not enough. And so that's why he's like, I'll be enough once I've, produced enough movies, enough music, once enough people love me and I've done enough, then I'll be deserving of their love. But you can't ever allow yourself psychologically to arrive at that point of being enough, because then your whole system of getting through the day collapses, because even though that's the thing you want, the
only
act
thing that
of
makes
progressing towards it is actually what gets you through the day. So then he's about to receive the Oscar for Best Actor, at which point within the particular game he's playing there's no higher place to ascend to, and so his subconscious erupts into I've
got to do something to sabotage this.
I have to sabotage it and prove that I'm not enough still, and give myself something else to come back from. And that's why I did it. At a subconscious,
Like he would, like,
psychodynamic
not-
level.
Yeah, not
I heard
consciously,
I was
but
like,
it makes a lot of sense.
that's it. I think that's it.
Like that nagging worry, like maybe if I do this, that won't, like that's the end. I've reached the end of the story.
Yeah, and you can't reach the end because then the end is death. So yeah.
That's morbid.
I'm more on Will Smith's side overall now, especially after Chris Rock's special, which I found very underwhelming.
I didn't watch it.
I can't even watch it all. I'm just like, this isn't particularly funny. And I think when you're given such a golden opportunity as a comedian, you should be coming up with better stuff. Anyway, we all love Brendan Fraser, and here we are at the peak of the Renaissance. We're recording this just days after the Oscars.
Correct.
And the Renaissance has been going on for quite a long time.
And we are now on board.
We're very good. As soon as, a trend only has to be going for about 7 years, and then
Yeah.
we will jump on it.
Well, that's how Zack Snyder's Justice League gets released. Eventually, somebody makes a podcast about it, and then Zack
that what
Snyder
happened there?
No, I have no fucking clue.
Oh, okay. Well, there's definitely
I also
Snyder Cut
didn't like it, so
podcasts.
who gives a shit about that?
Okay.
It was so long and so
Yep.
boring.
Isaac, you're alienating all the Brendan Fraser and Snyder Cut fans out there. It is a small demographic.
Yeah, I don't think that Venn
But we have to
diagram's
take what
gonna
we can
cross
get.
very much.
But there's mentions of the Renaissance from 2016, from what I could see.
But that's
Just
only
like-
like 2 years ago.
Yeah, true, actually.
Yeah, like It's
Yeah,
only 2
because the
years.
pandemic was 1 year ago,
Yeah.
and then 2016 was
Was
2
the year
years
before
before
that,
that.
yeah.
And 2 years before that, well, no, 3 years before that was 9/11. That's how time feels, right? And
Kind of.
yeah, it's pretty incredible that we're here. Now, you've seen The Whale.
Uh-huh.
I've not seen The Whale.
Which
we should
don't
address.
understand.
Well, that's my thing.
It's at the cinemas right now. You have
That's my
access to see
thing.
The Whale.
You know how everyone-
it's supposed to be seen.
You know how everyone has a thing?
Huge.
As it were.
It's massive and on a screen in front of you, and you can watch it.
Yeah, but you know, like, you know how everyone has a thing? My thing is I'm that guy who hasn't seen The Whale.
It's not a thing. It's just really sad for you.
Because I think this will be fun. Because now when I see The Whale, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
You're going to wait at least 3 years to see The Whale.
Yes, probably. We need to come up with a strategy of how to not let this take 3 years.
We just record The Whale episode now.
And then when I do see it, I will have seen everything. And I will be, and I, alone in maybe in the universe, will be able to place it appropriately in the chronology and the wider body of his work. Now I soften this by saying I'm happy to see his other new films that come out. We might need to break our chronological order for those.
So you want to watch The Whale after you watch something that he does after The Whale?
Yeah, like Flowers of Darkly Noon, or whatever
we'll
it is.
finish
the
before
Martin.
that gets released.
That's coming out in like June.
I know.
Which, you know, I mean, it's Scorsese, it's DiCaprio. That's going to have Oscar buzz around it as well.
Oh, so we're not watching that for another 3 years.
Well, no, I'm saying we will.
Oh, okay.
But The Whale is special because it's the Oscar. You know what I mean? So I've decided that... And this is going to be a fun tension
So
between us.
All of y'all who've seen The Whale, it's great, right? Cool.
I wouldn't know. Maybe it is. Maybe I won't like it.
It's possible that you won't,
that
but
would
I
be-
don't think that's true.
That would be very me. We'll get to the end of this. I'll be like, look, I didn't love it, to be honest with you.
Well,
I don't think he deserved it. I think it should have gone to Elvis.
having seen The Whale, I don't think it's going to be top of the list.
I think it should have been Colin Farrell from the Banshees.
Oh, that's the thing we have to decide right now before we actually start judging shit. Are
Mm.
we judging Brendan Fraser's performance in films or the films themselves?
Well, in the past, we've always done a heady and confusing mix of the two.
Correct. But
And I
right
wanna-
now,
I'm happy
doing
to
an
continue
introduction
that.
episode, we can make a decision. Should we do which Brendan Fraser would beat others in a fight? Because we already know.
Yeah, so with...
It's the Robot Man.
When we did the Brenton Thwaites hour,
The Doom Patrol show.
we should say with the other... With DC and BT, we ranked their movies...
Brendan Thwaites.
Yeah. I thought we could... Now we could say BFF.
Because we're BFFs?
No, because Brendan fucking Fraser.
Okay.
That's kind of fun, right?
I also like the BFFs bit, but you disagreed, so it's fine.
I didn't disagree that we're BFFs. I was just talking about something else. All right? And if you want to be BFFs, Isaac, I would advise you not to carry on this way.
Ah. I just swallowed audibly.
Just waiting till my brain catches up with what I was talking about. Yeah. So we would rank the movies from our most favorite to our least preferred. And each time we review a new one, we add it into the list and we decide where it goes in the ranking.
Done.
With Brenton Thwaites, we did also create a separate list of all of his characters, which one would win in a fight.
Which is the best list.
Which was way more fun than than ranking the films. And, you know, we could definitely do that again.
Well, now
Robot
that
Man.
massive one for all fight's going to be huge.
Exactly.
Because Brenton's done 13 films, whereas
Yeah. Brenton, much earlier in career, he's a young guy, so not so much to deal with. I mean, it would be an interesting ranking of see how far Rick O'Connell gets. Robot Man from Doom Patrol.
Well, no, Rick O'Connell wins.
Rick O'Connell wins
hands
out.
down.
I
He's
don't know.
defeated several gods.
I don't know. What's his character in Inkheart like? What's the character,
The character in Inkheart reads books, and the characters from the books come to life.
G.I. Joe:
That
The
is the
Rise
premise
of
of that movie.
Cobra?
If he reads a book out loud, what he reads comes to life.
Uh-huh.
So he can still read just quietly.
Well, what if he reads,
Gojira.
Gojira, You know, he could read some Balrogs into existence. Like, you got to remember, it's not just it's
Yeah,
not
but
a
do they
hand.
fight for him?
It's not a hand-to-hand fight.
Like in Inkheart, they just come to life and live their lives.
We construct this as a battle royale, no rules.
So the Balrog, he can read them for a specific position on the
I
field.
think we need to
Like, if he
keep
reads
doing.
he just says the word Balrog, and it just pops up.
Yeah, but yeah, and you just go Balrog, 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 and it counts because it's a word in a book. I mean, I haven't seen Inkheart, but I assume this is how it works.
I didn't mind Inkheart, actually. It's not bad.
Should we keep doing it? Who will win in a fight? Because my other idea.
We're doing it. It's happening.
Okay.
It's happening.
Because
I'm making a prediction that Rick O'Connell's going to win.
Oh, yeah, because we have to do our predictions and then we can wrap up shortly.
Rick O'Connell from second The Mummy movie.
Okay, so all right.
Our predictions for the best 3 films.
We have predictions for best 3 films, and I have a bottom 3 as well.
Okay, I don't have
Just
a
for
bottom
fun.
3.
And okay, so predictions for who'll win in a fight. You think you're going to be able, because you have to make an argument of how Rick O'Connell beats anyone else on this list.
Can do.
Look, fair play with Brendan Fraser. He does play a lot of just human men.
Yeah.
So Rick O'Connell probably would knock out quite a lot of these guys.
Uh-huh.
And obviously, everything after Rick O'Connell, Brendan Fraser is getting older, so less good at fighting. So maybe, but I think
Also,
surely
it needs to be stated where this fight is taking place, because George of the Jungle has access to jungle things if it's in a jungle. But in my mind, it's taking place in that Colosseum from Clone Wars.
Star Wars, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's literally the first place I thought
It's
of where a
Colosseum.
battle royale would take place.
That's what I was picturing the Brenton Thwaites one the whole time. Yeah. You know what? I think it's not a very exciting choice, but it's going to be bloody
Your top
what's his
3.
name, Cliff Steele, Robot Man from Doom Patrol.
Yeah, but he's just a robot man.
Well,
I mean,
we'll
it's
see.
a good guess, though.
We'll see.
It's a good guess.
We will see, Isaac.
Yeah, because we're definitely watching Doom Patrol.
Let's settle this in the Colosseum. Okay? We don't have to talk about this now. I'll see you
In the Colosseum.
on the sand.
In our
on the
minds.
sand with the little pillars and stuff.
In our minds. In like 8
In
months
our
or so when we eventually
some
get
some
to
people have a mind palace. We have a mind Colosseum from Star Wars with 1,000 Brendan Frasers fighting in it. It's like the Council of the Kangs, but it's Brendan Fraser's,
Oh, I'm so
and
glad
they're
Brendan
all
Fraser
just
wasn't in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Because then
beating the
each
shit
of the
out of
Brendan
each other.
Frasers would have to be in the fight. Because like if we were doing
What?
Ke Huy Kwan's
Yeah.
filmography, which is a lot shorter,
Yeah, I mean, if
and
you're
we were
short on
doing which
time,
one would win in a fight, there's like 8 of him from Everything Everywhere All at Once that would have to join the fight, all 8 of them.
yeah, true, good point.
But they'd be
Good
fighting
point.
together because they're from one film. They'd be best mates.
Maybe
Top 3 films. What do you got?
that's great. I mean, we should say as well. I mean, we could be doing the Ke Huy. We're also waist deep in the Ke Huy Quanaissance. You know, because he's going to be going
such
from.
a cool guy.
Well, I've been enjoying
He's
people
so
posting the clips of like he like Harrison Ford presented it.
yes.
He hugs, cutting to him, hugging him in Indiana Jones.
It's
cutting
just
to
nice.
what is the movie he's in with Brendan Fraser?
Encino Man.
That's Encino Man. Yeah, clips of that, and then now they're both getting the Oscar at the same time. Unbelievable story. It's all just all of it though is kind of
Heartwarming. It feels heartwarming.
Well, yes and no, because as with everything Hollywood and particularly the Oscars, anytime someone has a comeback, well, not any time, but often when someone has a comeback, the reason they had to go away is because of the limitations of Hollywood. Like Ke Huy Quan didn't want to stop acting. There were just no roles for Asian characters. And so he gave up until they decided to bring him back. And now everyone's there like, yeah, well done. We let you be in a film again.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that he's won awards and stuff isn't what I love. I just love that he's acting again.
Well, yeah, that as
Because
well.
I want to see him and stuff. I love that he has such a high-pitched voice.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
But is able to not do it because he doesn't talk that way in the movie the whole time.
Yeah.
But his normal voice is the
just so
same as when he
happy
was a
and-
child.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
But top 3 films. Sam,
Okay, all right.
Of
So
Brendan Fraser. What do you got? What do you got?
my predictions for what will be on the top of this list.
What's your third?
Well, see, I haven't decided which order these might be in.
That's okay.
The first, look, in a way, the top 2 are obvious. The third one is the question mark,
Okay.
I think.
well, my third one,
Mm-hmm.
and it's probably actually going to end up, it's The Whale.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
Because I've seen it. You
Interesting.
have. So your
Yeah,
third
because
one can't
because
be
my
The
thing
Whale.
is I haven't seen The Whale.
Yeah,
that's
your
what
that's your thing.
That's
your
my
whole
thing. That's what everyone says about me. They're
Yeah,
like, you have
everyone actually.
Everyone's
says
like,
that.
Sam, the guy who hasn't seen The Whale. Really hasn't seen The Whale? Like, yeah, why not? They're like, oh, it's a stupid project he's doing that no one cares about. And then I go, oh, okay. Okay, fine. The third one I'm putting on my list is, and this is kind of a shot in the dark because again, I don't remember watching this, although I'm sure I did. But maybe, if I turn out to be right, it'll be really fun. The Quiet American.
Haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's that sort of prestige drama.
Also a very rare thing, a Quiet America.
Exactly, yeah.
Take that, America.
First people to make that joke. Let's
Was
never
very
do that.
Awkward high
Let's
five,
never.
And I didn't enjoy it.
That was awful.
Second on the list.
We're still getting used to the filming thing. If we weren't filming, we could have done that
It would have been audible.
with full energy.
No, we'll do it, but we'll put a really, really, really fake high five slap sound over the top of the audio and the footage because it's not in frame.
Just hit me over here. There we go.
It's worse to redo a high five that sucked. It feels.
I think it's
forced.
worse if you don't get it the second time.
True.
If you nail it on the second go and then you keep going, then that's a win. When it's stretching out to third and fourth, as that was, that's when it's definitely something you want to film and put on the internet. I'll say that much.
What is your second on the list?
Well, look, I don't have these two ranked. My prediction is 1 and 2 will be The Mummy and The Whale.
Okay.
Like, I think that's
The
probably...
Whale's third. George is my second.
Really?
I love George
You
of the
think
Jungle.
George-
I'm going to argue hard for George of the Jungle.
You think George of the Tropical Rainforest,
Uh-huh.
Watch Out for That Phone,
Yeah.
is going to be in the top 3 of his all-time films?
Uh-huh.
Damn.
And then The Mummy is obviously first.
Explain yourself.
You haven't seen it yet.
I mean, we can... Well,
So you can't remember George yet.
I've only seen it in my subconscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you will know. It's fun as shit. It's so fun.
I'm excited for Leslie Mann in that film.
Yeah.
I realized, oh, that's what she was doing.
There are jokes that
Before
I
Judd
quote
Apatow
from that
stuff.
movie all the time and nobody gets them. And now you will.
Give us one.
No, you're not going to get
No.
it until we
Well, I
start.
don't have to get it.
No, you do need to get it.
Hopefully people don't have to get jokes as clearly evidenced by this podcast. People don't have to get jokes in order for someone to say them.
I'm keen. So when's our first
So,
episode
yeah.
coming out?
In 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks' time, everybody. First
I
episode.
think 2 weeks.
Noted. I think we could swing it for every 2 weeks.
Just to think, like 2 weeks works for us in terms of our lives.
Yeah.
It is a 3-year project.
Yeah. But that's okay. We could spend
When I
some
see the-
weeks where we do 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Because they're
Maybe.
shorter episodes for
But
Brendan
yeah.
than they were for Daniel. We're not going to sit here talking for an hour just to introduce the show.
No.
We're not going to do the
That
intro
would be-
episode's not going to be 55 minutes long.
That would be insane.
Exactly.
And this one won't be, because we'll cut stuff out. Well, you will cut stuff out because you have the video editing software.
Nope. I'm going to add stuff in.
I'm going to film my own stuff
I'm going to take awkward pauses and make them at least 10 seconds longer than they are.
and do slow zoom in on each of us.
All right.
Yeah, okay. Oh, but then my bottom 3.
Oh, okay.
This is, I think, is more fun.
Bedazzled.
So,
Actually,
yeah.
Inkheart.
In cart what? At the bottom?
Yeah.
You think that's bottom 3?
Yeah.
I don't think you've looked closely enough at this filmography.
I don't think I have, but I've seen Inkheart.
So, I think at the bottom of the list is probably going to be Sinbad, Beyond the Veil of Mists, which is only a voice role, but it's the story of the legendary sailor
You don't
who
need
helps
to
a
tell me,
beautiful
I've seen it.
princess. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you know how it's weird. Why is it so bad? The animation. It's like if I was to do it.
It's like if somebody who had access to the same animation software that DreamWorks used in 2003,
Yeah.
and they just had that at their house and I'm gonna make a movie.
Yeah.
Bam.
It weirdly stars Brendan Fraser, Mark Hamill,
Mhm.
John Rhys Davies.
Mark Hamill's in every animated film.
He will do.
He's not a
anything, that guy.
surprise
Yeah,
for an
true.
animated role. So-
True. I mean, maybe it's a good film and just looks terrible.
Yep.
But I also think probably going to be quite far down the list is Furry Vengeance. 2010's very, very interesting. In the
Again,
Oregon
I've
wilderness, a real estate developer's new housing subdivision faces a unique group of protesters, local woodland creatures who don't want their homes disturbed.
There are worse movies of that kind, of that ilk, from that era.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it will not be high on our list.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to that one in particularly. And then, I mean, I wasn't really sure what else.
I'm glad that you haven't put Looney Tunes Back in Action in your bottom 3.
I thought about it. I, again,
You should
haven't
have thought
seen
about
it.
it.
Yeah.
'Cause
That
it's
might
not
be
good,
in yours.
but I don't think it's going to be bottom 3.
And this one's kind of a shot in the dark. It could be or could not be. Blast from the Past.
Haven't seen it.
A naive man comes out into the world after spending 35 years in a nuclear fallout shelter. Actually,
So Encino Man, but grown up.
yeah. Brendan Fraser's thing is a guy who hasn't been around for a while and now is back. Oh, actually, no, maybe this would be great. It's got Christopher Walken in it. But it's that like 1999.
So it's literally
Romantic
Encino
comedy.
Man, but he's like more of a man.
Yeah, he's
It's not
Encino
Encino
Man, but
teenager.
from the 50s, I guess. And so that's that.
That is that.
That's the show.
Are you keen, Sam?
I am very keen. A little bit apprehensive because whenever
how
we
big
do
this
this,
is?
it's just a big time commitment.
It is a big time
It's a big time and energy commitment.
It's bigger than Craigslist, which is weird.
Is it? I
Because-
don't know. Craigslist got up to like the episodes
Yeah,
were in
but
the
Craigslist,
50s.
I think, ended at 56. Yeah.
Okay.
IMDb has just confirmed that we've got to go like 20 past that.
Yeah. Fuck. It's okay.
So overall,
A journey.
I think we're going to end the episodes by going, wish us luck, everybody.
Yeah, you know what they say? A journey of 1,000 steps begins with one step. And
I don't think that's what they
it.
say.
Yeah, every journey.
It's a journey of 1,000
every journey
miles.
that's made up of steps
Yeah.
is each of those individual steps is its own step.
If I take
So,
one more step,
If I take one
it'll
more
be the
step,
most steps I've ever taken.
yeah, exactly. And so now it's like I was saying to ourselves, like if we take one more step, it's the furthest into doing a Brendan Fraser podcast we've ever been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
Like
though?
if we actually record episode 1.
Yeah. Or should acknowledge as well at the outset of this that very, very explicitly, we are a Brendan Fraser podcast. We are not the Brendan Fraser podcast. The Brendan Fraser podcast has existed for some years, and they do some reviews in different places and different things, but they do all sorts of more wide-ranging discussions. We are very narrowly limiting ourselves to the chronological progression. But we acknowledge and thank them for their service over at the Brendan Fraser podcast.
Oh,
And
that's what it's called.
yeah, it's
Very
cool.
original.
That's what I'm saying.
Very creative.
Yeah. They didn't spend 12 months coming up with Turns of Phrase, a name which, on hearing it, no one would have any idea what it is.
Unless you see it.
Unless
you
you
have to
see
read
it. Yeah, well, that's the only reason I've put the subtitle, a
And
Brendan
not even
Fraser
read,
podcast.
you have to see the picture.
Yeah, you have to read it to see the spelling, and then hopefully see the picture of Brendan Fraser behind it, and then really try and piece that together. And we will be back soon to talk about not Dogfight.
I thought Dogfight was the first one.
You don't know bloody anything, mate. We are going to watch Child of Darkness, Child of Light, 1991 television movie,
Starring
in which
or featuring.
Brendan plays the role of John's friend.
Oh my god.
It's available on YouTube,
Yes.
and we're going to have a great time. I like the 90s stuff, the really early 90s stuff.
Some of the Daniel
It's just a
Craig
real
stuff
time
haunts
capsule.
me still.
Yes, there were some real bumpy
There
rides.
was some terrible, but I don't think Brendan did any weird shit. Like Brendan may have done things that aren't fantastic, but I'm pretty sure he hasn't been in a weird film that Rhys Ifans masturbates and a monkey's there. And there are cockroaches.
which is not something you can say about Daniel Craig.
It's not.
I think Daniel
really
Daniel
not.
Craig is what's the right way to say
Britain's
this?
best actor.
He is Britain's best actor, as
And
we know
that's-
from
that's
that
all you
book
need
we
to say.
read. But he's more out there as an artist. I'm not going to say he's more of an artist, but you know what I mean? Like everyone's an artist.
I get you.
But he's more out there really trying stuff and is willing to do something weird and crazy. Whereas Brendan, he's more of your Hollywood heartthrob. And so there's probably a narrower bandwidth in which things can happen, but we don't know.
We're going to find out.
We will see how come with us to find out how weird this shit gets on Turns of Phrase. If you want to connect with the podcast, probably still do this. You can follow us on Twitter at ExceptionalPod, or on Instagram at ExceptionalThieves, or you can send us an email at exceptionalthieves@gmail.com. Could change all of that to Turns of Phrase to make it simpler for people to access, but once again,
We won't.
cannot be bothered at all. Put so way too much effort into this already. And also, I think the other important thing to acknowledge here at the beginning, I think we can get Brendan Fraser on this podcast.
I don't, but
I think
I
we
like
can.
I like your blue sky thinking.
We just need to let's just don't say anything too weird.
Too late.
Let's just keep it. No. I'm not talking about previous episodes. I'm talking about now. This is a clean slate. This is a clean slate.
Okay, cool. So we're not allowed to talk about how handsome he is in The Mummy.
We can talk about how handsome he is, but in a normal, chill way. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ignore the 120 episodes that are still online immediately prior to this. Because he seems
everyone
like
else did.
he seems nice. Hell yeah, dude. He seems like a nice, accessible guy who we could get on a Zoom call and just ask him some questions. Because if I was Brendan Fraser and someone said, hey, these guys have watched absolutely everything you've ever done. It's 2025, and these guys have watched everything you've ever done. Would you sit down with them for 10 minutes?
After winning your third Oscar in a row.
Sometimes our other option is we go to like a con or something, and you pay like thousands of dollars for 10 minutes of a meet and greet. Yeah.
He's got to come
Let's
to
do
a con
that.
that we could get to, though.
Or
But-
we fly to America.
We shall see.
It can be Sam and Isaac go to the United States.
We should record
That'd
an
be
episode
fun.
on a plane.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, the whole time.
The entire time.
Don't try and take it out at all. Just leave it in.
You can't take it out. It's there.
Yeah. Well,
Everyone knows
you
you're
could-
on a plane.
you
We
could
could
soften
pretend to
it.
be on a plane for most of these episodes.
We could. We could. Let's stop filming, and each episode we put a different sound. Like we put jungle sounds behind the George of the Jungle stuff. That'd be fun. Would it?
All right.
No.
Thank you for listening to the intro
Thank you for
to
listening.
Turns of Phrase.
Yes. And we'll be back soon with Child of Darkness, Child of Light. Join us next time for more exceptional theft of your time. That went all right, I think.
Yeah, I think that was okay. A little long.
Well, you know.